Did you know that what you do in the first hour after waking up can determine whether you live to 90 or beyond? It's shocking, but true. Most people have no idea that they are sabotaging their longevity every morning before they finish dinner. In this video, I'll reveal the 7 morning habits shared by people who consistently live into their 90s and beyond. And the best part, habit 4 only takes 30 seconds of your time, but could add years to your life. These are the secrets that most doctors won't tell you, but the evidence is damning. Let me tell you about Walter. At 65, Walter watched as his friends began to develop serious health problems. Heart problems, cognitive decline, mobility issues. But today, Walter is 93 and still lives independently, drives his car and even volunteers at the local garden 3 times a week. What's his secret? It's not genetics. Most of his family only made it past 75. The difference came when Walter discovered and implemented 7 specific morning habits after attending a health seminar at age 65. These similar changes completely transformed his health trajectory. While his friends were down, Walter was alive. When I asked him what made the difference, he pointed to his morning routine without hesitation. "What I do in the first hour after waking up saved my life," he told me. And today I'm going to share Walter's secrets with you. Are you ready to discover the morning habits that could completely transform your health after age 60? Let's take a guess. Habit 1. Hydrate immediately. Do you know what's going on inside your body right now if you haven't had any water today? Your blood is literally working hard, putting dangerous pressure on your heart and brain. The first thing centenarians do after waking up isn't checking their cell phone or turning on the television. It's drinking water. And timing is absolutely critical. Nephrology and longevity professionals at Harvard Medical School have found that immediate hydration accelerates aging by 31%. Dr. Jessica Rothman, director of kidney health at Harvard, explains that during sleep, your body becomes progressively dehydrated, creating a condition called morning blood work that forces your heart to work significantly harder and damages small blood vessels in your brain and legs. This damage accumulates over time and dramatically accelerates aging. Take Sylvia's story. At 72, she suffered from chronic problems, constant fatigue and nagging memory lapses. Her doctors were considering dialysis. But when she started drinking 16 ounces of water immediately upon waking, before getting out of bed, her brain function improved by 28% in just 60 days. "My doctor couldn't believe the change in my blood work," Sylvia told me. "He asked what medications I was taking, and I told him, just water, first thing in the morning." Here's what you need to do, starting tomorrow morning. Put an entire drawer of water in your bathroom before you go to bed. The moment you open your eyes, before your feet hit the floor, drink the entire drawer. Not coffee, not tea, water. Room temperature is best, because cold water can shock your system. Make this non-negotiable, like brushing your teeth. Your organs are desperately craving hydration after hours of sleep. Don't make them wait another minute. Can you commit to this simple habit that could dramatically improve your brain function and cardiovascular health? The world's oldest people don't consider it optional. It's essential. Are you already doing it? If not, when will you start? Tomorrow morning could be the beginning of your transformation. Habit 2. Exposure to natural morning light. Are you sabotaging your circadian rhythm every day without realizing it? If you're not getting natural light within 30 minutes of waking up, you're missing out on one of the most powerful longevity triggers researchers have discovered. Studies from the National Institute for Health show that exposure to morning light within 30 minutes of waking up increases melatonin production later in the day by 73%. Dr. Andrew Peterson, an expert in circadian health and action, explains that exposure to morning light within 30 minutes of waking increases melatonin production by 73%. Exposure to morning light within 30 minutes of waking increases melatonin production later in the day by 73%. Exposure to morning light within 30 minutes of waking increases melatonin production later in the day by 73%. Exposure to morning light within 30 minutes of waking increases melatonin production later in the day by 73%. Exposure to morning light within 30 minutes of waking increases melatonin production later in the day by 73%. Exposure to morning light within 30 minutes of waking increases melatonin production later in the day by 73%. Exposure to morning light within 30 minutes of waking increases melatonin production later in the day by 73%. Dr. Lisa Monroe, chief of geriatric medicine at the Mayo Clinic, says our research shows that moving in the morning before eating activates a process called autophagy, essentially cellular cleansing, which is crucial to joint longevity. We measured dramatic differences in inflammatory markers between gentlemen who moved before lunch versus those who ate first. This was life-changing for Harriet. At 68, she was scheduled for leg repair surgery after years of debilitating arthritis pain. As a last resort, her physical therapist suggested 7 minutes of gentle movement immediately upon waking, before eating anything. Within 3 months, Harriet's pain had diminished so significantly that her doctor canceled her surgery. "I thought my active days were over," Harriet said. "Now I can play with my kids," and it all started with those few minutes of morning movement. Here's her action plan. Tomorrow morning, after drinking your water, but before any food or coffee, spend 5 to 10 minutes doing gentle joint lubrication movements. This isn't about intense exercise. It's about movement that feels good. Try small circular movements with your arms, legs, 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 and arms. Stop and suffer gently side to side. Touch your feet if you can, or just push yourself a little. The key is the gentle, continuous movement that wakes up your knees and muscles. Can you feel how firm your body is first thing in the morning? It's telling you something important. Don't ignore it. This small window of opportunity activates longevity pathways that lie dormant if you sit still. Will you prioritize these few minutes tomorrow to protect your knees for decades to come? Imagine moving with ease at 85 or 90. Those who achieve this aren't genetically strong. They just do this morning ritual consistently. You join them. This 30-second breathing habit is the single most powerful longevity practice that nearly all 90-year-olds and older share. But most people completely ignore it. What if I told you that the way you breathe in the morning sets your stress response for the entire day, potentially adding or subtracting years from your life? Researchers in the blue zones, where people live routinely for more than 100 years, have documented that centenarians specifically practice breathing patterns that reduce cellular stress by more than 48%. Dr. Michael Cohen, who studies longevity practices in Sardinia, Italy, reports that we measured significant differences in inflammatory markers and stress hormones between those who practice intentional morning breathing and those who don't. This brief practice appears to activate the vagus nerve, essentially telling your body that it is safe to allocate resources to longevity rather than survival. In the mountain villages of Sardinia, where men live routinely into their later years, Douglas observed a morning ritual among the elderly. Every morning, before doing anything else, they would stand outside their homes and take a series of deep, rhythmic breaths. When researchers measured their heart rate variability and cortisol levels, they found patterns similar to those of much younger individuals. One 96-year-old explained, "I breathe in the morning to prepare my body for a good day. If I forget to do this, I feel it in the evening. My energy drops, my vision fluctuates." Here is the 30-second practice that can transform your health. Immediately after your morning water, and preferably while in natural light, do the 4-7-8 breathing technique. Inhale quietly through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold the breather for 7 seconds, then breathe fully through your mouth for 8 seconds, making a breathing sound. Repeat this cycle 3 or 4 times. That's it, 30 seconds that signal your body that it needs to activate longevity patterns instead of stress responses. Sounds too simple to be effective? The science is clear. This brief practice has measurable effects on blood pressure, inflation, and stress hormones. Will you invest these 30 seconds tomorrow morning? It may be the biggest return on investment you'll ever receive for your health. Are you breathing fully right now as you watch this? Probably not. Many of us breathe softly, using only 30% of our blood capacity. Start changing that pattern tomorrow morning. Habit 5. The protein and fiber coffee. Is your morning coffee silently sabotaging your chances of living past 90? The truth is that what Americans eat for breakfast is actively accelerating their aging process, and many don't realize it until it's too late. Nutritional gerontologists have identified specific breakfast patterns among long-lived populations that reduce inflammatory markers by as much as 53%. Dr. Valerie Richardson, principal investigator at the Longevity Nutrition Institute, explains that the first dinner of the day sets metabolic patterns that influence everything from insulin sensitivity to microinflammation levels. Our research shows that a morning dinner that contains at least 25 grams of protein and 8 grams of fiber creates a metabolic environment that supports cellular repair rather than cellular damage. Consider Gerald's experience. At age 68, he was diagnosed with prediabetes and elevated inflammatory markers despite not being obese. His doctor predicted that he would develop full-blown diabetes within 2 years. Instead of starting medication right away, Gerald worked with a nutritionist to transform his dinner. He switched from his usual dinner of toast and coffee to a morning dinner with protein and fiber. 6 months later, his inflammatory markers had completely normalized. "The only thing I changed was dinner," Gerald emphasized. "My doctor didn't believe it was possible to reverse the trends by just changing one dinner." Here's his morning dinner formula for longevity. Combine a high-quality protein soup, eggs, Greek yogurt or plant-based protein if you prefer, with fiber-rich foods, legumes, chia seeds, eggs, or vegetables. Add a healthy fat soup, such as avocados, potatoes, or olive oil. Avoid refined carbohydrates completely before 10 a.m. They trigger insulin spikes that speed up maturation. Can you make this change tomorrow morning? The beauty of this habit is that it doesn't require any additional time. You're already eating dinner. You're just changing what you eat to activate the longevity patterns instead of the inflammatory ones. Is your current dinner worth risking your health after 70 years? Make the change tomorrow and feel the difference in days. What will you choose for dinner tomorrow? This decision may seem small, but its compounding effect for years is huge. The dinner ritual that is more powerful than any supplement to increase your life. Meaningful human connection. Did you know that isolation affects your body as dramatically as smoking 15 cigarettes a day? What most people don't realize is that when that connection happens matters almost as much as the connection itself. An 80-year Harvard study found that morning social connections increased longevity more significantly than quitting smoking or exercising. Dr. Robert Miller, who led the latest phase of this multigenerational research, said, "We found that participants who engaged in some form of meaningful social contact before 10 a.m. had a 29% lower overall mortality rate during the study period." Morning social interaction appears to set neurotransmitter patterns that benefit cardiovascular and immune function throughout the day. In Okinawa, Japan, home to some of the world's longest-lived people, Nancy observed a fascinating pattern while researching centenarians. Each morning, neighbors would gather briefly before starting their days, some for just 5 minutes of conversation. One 97-year-old woman explained that if she didn't talk to someone in the morning, the whole day felt wrong. We check ourselves every day. That's how we've lived for so long. When researchers measured their inflammatory markers and compared them with socially isolated seniors, the differences were striking, equivalent to being decades younger biologically. Here are 3 ways to incorporate this life-extending habit tomorrow morning. First, make a quick morning phone call to a friend or family member. Even 3 minutes counts. Second, if you live with others, create a meaningful morning check-in ritual instead of slogging through the night. Third, if you live alone, consider establishing a regular morning get-together with neighbors or friends, even once a week to start. Can't do either of these? Even a friendly chat with a barista or a diner triggers some of the same biological benefits. The key is to make human connection a non-negotiable part of your morning, just like brushing your teeth. Are you willing to prioritize this tomorrow? Your body literally cannot live without it, no matter what supplements or exercise regimen you follow. Who are you going to connect with tomorrow morning? Your body is waiting for this critical signal to activate the longevity pathways. Habit 7. Practice direct gratitude. The one mental habit that people in their 90s do every morning without fail. Intentional gratitude, but not the advocacy you've heard before. There's a specific way to practice gratitude that activates the longevity pathways in your brain and body. Neuroscientists at Yale University have found that practicing gratitude in the morning physically rewires the brain and reduces cortisol by 23%. Dr. Sarah Jenkins, who specializes in neuroplasticity in working adults, explains that we can see brain changes in fMRI scans when people practice direct gratitude consistently in the morning. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision-making and emotional regulation, shows increased activity patterns, similar to those in much younger brains. But timing matters. This effect is significantly stronger when practiced within an hour of waking. Patricia's story demonstrates this powerfully. In 1974, she was struggling with hypertension that didn't respond well to medicine. Her cardiologist was concerned about her heart function. After learning about the research on gratitude, Patricia began a simple morning gratitude practice focused specifically on her body and health. Within 3 months, her blood pressure stabilized, and her heart rate variability, a key marker of cardiovascular health, improved by 31%. My doctor asked me what medication I had changed, Patricia shared. When I told him it was just my morning thought pattern, he was skeptical until he saw consistent readings over time. Here's the 2-minute gratitude practice that transformed Patricia's health. Immediately after your breathing exercise, place your hand on your heart. Name 3 specific parts of your body that you are grateful for and why. For example, I am grateful for my eyes that let me see my children's faces. I am grateful for my legs that still carry me where I need to go. I am grateful for my heart that has been beating faithfully for me all these years. The key is the specificity and direction of gratitude in your body, not just circumstances. This is not magical thinking. It creates a measured change in nervous system function that influences everything from inflammation levels to immune response. Will you try this 2-minute practice tomorrow morning? It costs nothing, requires no special equipment, and could literally add years to your life. Have you thanked your body today for all it does for you? Or do you focus on what's wrong with it? Your perspective literally changes your physiology. Now you know the 7 morning habits that could transform your health after 60 and dramatically increase your chances of joining the elite group of 90 and overs. You don't have to be perfect. Even adopting just 3 of these habits can create significant changes in your health journey. Remember Walter. He started with just 2 habits and added the others gradually. The key is to start tomorrow, not wait for the perfect moment that never comes. Your morning routine literally programs your body for youth or age. Which will you choose? These habits are not optional luxuries. They are essential practices for anyone who wants to not only reach their 90s, but get there with energy, clarity, and purpose. Which of these 7 morning habits will you implement tomorrow? Your future is dependent on the decision you make now. If you found this information valuable, please hit the like button and subscribe for more life-changing health secrets that most people over 60 never discover. Which of these 7 morning habits are you already doing? Let me know in the comments below. Share this video with someone you care about. It might just be the gift that adds years to your life.